says that if the Delhi Chief Minister is indeed Kattar Imandar as he claims he is, then why is he afraid of facing the Enforcement Directorate's questions? That brings us to our moot question tonight. How long can Kejriwal continue to skip summons by the Enforcement Directorate? Is it time for the Delhi Chief Minister to show up and face the law?
बीजेपी का मकसद कोई पूछताछ करना थोड़ी है। इनका मकसद है पूछताछ के बहाने केजरीवाल को बुला लो और उसे गिरफ्तार कर लो ताकि मैं लोकसभा चुनाव में प्रचार न कर पाऊं।
अब ये चाहते हैं कि ठीक लोकसभा चुनाव के पहले कैसे भी करके अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को अरेस्ट कर लें। इतना ही नहीं, इंडिया अलायंस के कई बड़े नेताओं पर ईडी की कार्यवाही चल रही है, उनको भी अरेस्ट कर ले।
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को गिरफ्तार कर लीजिए। लोकसभा चुनाव के अंदर अरविंद केजरीवाल गैर हाजिर रहे, भारतीय जनता पार्टी को उसका फायदा हो जाए।
नकली दवाइयां आप अस्पतालों में दे रहे हैं, फर्जी रिपोर्ट दे रहे हैं, फर्जी एक्सरे रिपोर्ट दे रहे हैं। सबके पीछे सिर्फ एक काम चल रहा है, पैसे का खेल। अरविंद केजरीवाल, आप भ्रष्टाचार के कीर्तिमान स्थापित कर रहे हैं, उसके लिए आपको बधाई, लेकिन अल्टीमेटली आपको जांच एजेंसी के सामने आना होगा, दिल्ली की जनता को सच बताना होगा।
आज अरविंद केजरीवाल न केवल भगोड़े नंबर 1 और भ्रष्टाचारी नंबर 1 है, बल्कि इनकी पूरी पार्टी ड्रामेबाज नंबर 1 है।
First things first, let's get you an overview of why the Enforcement Directorate wants to question the Delhi Chief Minister, why he's under the lens of the Liquorgate probe. Now, reason number one, the ED claims is that they believe that there was allegedly a video call between the Chief Minister and Sameer Mahindru, who's one of the accused in the Liquorgate scam. Reason number two, one of the accused, who's now turned approver, Dinesh Arora, had claimed during his questioning by the Enforcement Directorate that he had met Kejriwal on multiple occasions in connection with the new liquor policy. Reason number three, the Enforcement Directorate also claims that Vijay Nair, who was the conduit between the other accused and the powers that be in the Aam Aadmi Party, was acting at the behest of the Chief Minister. Reason number four, that the remand note of Amit Arora, who's again one of the accused, mentions Arvind Kejriwal on more than one occasion. And reason number five, Sisodia, the former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister, was in charge of the excise department when this new policy was made. His former personal assistant had claimed that the policy report was actually given at the Chief Minister's residence. One of the YSRCP MPs had also said that his son was welcomed into the liquor business by the Delhi Chief Minister. And reason number seven, the ED believes that the proceeds that arose as a result of this change of policy, the money that the private contractors, the liquor contractors made as a consequence of this change of policy, went to the Aam Aadmi Party. In fact, the ED had even approached the Supreme Court asking if the AAP can be made a party to this case. Also, questions continue to mount on the Aam Aadmi Party and its image of being Kattar Imandar, because it's not just the Liquorgate scandal that they are facing the heat for. Let's talk about that particular scam itself, where the allegation is that the excise policy was allegedly tailored for windfall profits to private liquor barons. The Aam Aadmi Party was accused of receiving as much as 100 crores in kickbacks because of that change of policy. It is also estimated, and this is the contention of the investigating agencies, that the estimated loss to the public exchequer because of that change of policy was 2,600 crores. Manish Sisodia, Sanjay Singh and Satyendra Jain are all in custody in relation to this or other scams that the Aam Aadmi Party is accused of. Kejriwal, the Delhi Chief Minister, has decided to skip the ED summons, not once or twice, but today being the third time. Also, the allegation, the latest one that's come to the fore, and this is what the BJP is alleging, this is what the Delhi LG has forwarded as recommendation for a CBI probe, a new scam the LabGate scam, in which the accusation is there were 7 Mohalla clinics, and Mohalla clinics are a flagship policy of the Aam Aadmi Party government, a flagship achievement of the Aam Aadmi Party government. 7 Mohalla clinics were under the scanner of the Vigilance Department. The lab investigations basically outsourced to private companies. Over 20,000 fake and non-existent mobile numbers were allegedly used for ghost patients. Thousands of lab tests were also allegedly conducted on fake patients. And the latest in this is that the Delhi LG, VK Saxena, has written for a recommendation of a CBI probe into this particular alleged scam. In connection with that, another thing that has now come to light is a fake medicine scam where spurious medicines were allegedly supplied to Delhi government-run hospitals, including life-saving medicines which were found to be substandard. The Delhi LG has ordered or recommended a probe of the CBI into both the LabGate as well as this fake medicine alleged scam. Now, that brings us to the political face-off. The BJP is continuing to rain fire on Kejriwal. They've tweeted from their official handle. That's part of our Motorola India's best 5G smartphones tweet of the day.
Hello, Moto.
So this is what the BJP has tweeted, and I quote, "What is Arvind Kejriwal scared of? Has he abandoned Manish Sisodia and Sanjay Singh, who continue to be in jail in the liquor excise scam? Kejriwal, instead of skipping the ED summons, should take lessons in corruption for India Alliance leaders who can also enrich themselves with his experience." So let's get straight across to our debate tonight amid the Liquorgate storm. Should Kejriwal stop skipping the summons by the Enforcement Directorate, instead show up for questioning and face the law?
Hello, Moto.
All right, joining us on the talking point this evening, Basuri Suraj, spokesperson of the BJP, Abhinandita Mathur, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, Rashid Gidbhai, senior journalist, Shekhar Iyer, also senior journalist, joining us. Let me start with you, Abhinandita Mathur. This is the third time that the Delhi Chief Minister is skipping a summons by the Enforcement Directorate. He is being asked to join the investigation because the ED wants to ask some questions to him. His name has cropped up. Multiple accused persons in the Liquorgate scam have said that he was in the know. All that the ED is asking of the Delhi Chief Minister is to show up for questioning. For a party that claims to be Aam Aadmi Party, you think if the summons was issued to an Aam Aadmi and not the Delhi Chief Minister, he or she would have been able to skip the summons, not once or twice, but on 3 occasions?
Good evening. The first thing first, I would like to say that the Aam Aadmi Party, all its leaders, all its volunteers, all its karyakartas, ministers, etc., we are not scared of these false allegations. We are not scared of jail or the police or questioning and so on. That is the first thing, and we will continue to fight for the rights of the people, and we will continue to serve the people of Delhi. The important thing, Zaka, and what I was listening to what you were saying, and a lot of it seems natural and rational if the circumstances were normal. But very unfortunately, the way BJP has turned, the sort of scope of legality in this country is very tricky at the moment. There is, of course, a reason why the PMLA Act, for example, came into being. But how is it being used? It was actually meant to stop the funding to terrorists. But you are fighting, you are, accusing, you are going after chief ministers of your own country, and only to actually kill all opposition. And obviously the people are able to say it. So the reason why the Aam Aadmi Party will take certain stands, I will come to your question.
No, the question I asked you is a very simple one.
Yeah,
How can the Delhi Chief Minister, who claims to represent the Aam Aadmi, skip a summons by the Enforcement Directorate not once or twice but 3 times? Isn't that as good as privilege?
Not at all, actually. In fact, in this case in particular, I think that if it was not Arvind Kejriwal, perhaps this matter would not even have reached here. About your question on this, regarding the summons, I think it is within his legal right to ask for a response from the ED to get details, and which is why, the ED has not arrested him till date. there must be some reason why they're holding on, and that is because the summon is not sufficient. The summon has to be more explicit, and we do have lawyers on this panel, and unfortunately they perhaps are not going to tell you exactly how the law operates in this case, but I think it is very certainly it is within his legal rights to question and challenge the summons. I don't think that is a problem.
Basuri Swaraj is, so I'll ask her that, but my understanding as a layman is that when an investigating agency issues a summons to you and asks you to join a probe, I don't think the person who is asked for, unless there are very extraneous circumstances, health reasons or other pressing engagements, you cannot skip summons once, twice, thrice. In this case, it seems like the Delhi Chief Minister is taking cover behind political vendetta, the charge of political vendetta against the investigating agencies to skip summons. But Basuri Swaraj, the charge by the Aam Aadmi Party is that all of this is political vendetta. You're bringing this case up 3 months before the Lok Sabha election. You want to stop Arvind Kejriwal from campaigning. That's why you're using these agencies for political vendetta.
Certainly not. And I know that Abhinandita ji will not believe a word that I am saying. Therefore, I am going to quote the words of the Honorable High Court of Delhi, where the lawyers of the Aam Aadmi Party argued at length about the politicization of alleged politicization of investigative agencies. And this is an order passed by the Honorable High Court of Delhi on 20th of October 2023. I'm just going to present one sentence, Zaka, from paragraph number 85, right? And it says, this court will not insinuate or impute any political motives to the investigating agency in absence of any material on record and does not consider it a prima facie case of no evidence at all. So these are the words of the Honorable High Court of Delhi, not mine, which means that the only one politicizing this entire issue is the Aam Aadmi Party. What has happened is that Mr. Kejriwal, the Honorable Chief Minister of Delhi, has become a very khas admi in the garb of an Aam Admi. We all know that famous novel by George Orwell, 1984. And I remember how that novel ends. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. And that's exactly what's happening. Mr. Kejriwal, the Honorable CM, is now suffering from a VVIP syndrome. Since 2nd of November 2023, the ED asked him to join the investigation. The first summon he did not honor, saying that he is busy with election campaign during the Vidhan Sabha elections. The second summon came from ED. He said that he is busy. He is attending a 10-day Vipassana meditation workshop. And now in the last summon, the latest one that has come, the third summon, he has responded with not even making an excuse this time. He is so audacious. He has said, why doesn't the ED send him a questionnaire? Now, I want to ask you, is Mr. Kejriwal above the law? Because Section 50, subsection 3 of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, the PMLA, makes it mandatory on someone who has been summoned by the ED to actually show up. They need to present themselves and join the investigation. Abhinandita ji has echoed what Mr. Kejriwal keeps on saying, that they are not afraid of the investigation. If they are not afraid of the investigation, then they ought to join the investigation, because this is right now only in the realm of the investigation, correct? But I want to ask you, has Mr. Kejriwal become such an inconsiderate leader that it does not bother him that 7 times the courts of this land have rejected the bail application of Mr. Mandir Ayohdya? On 13th of December 2023, even the review petition of Mr. Mandir Ayohdya was rejected by the Honorable Supreme Court of India. Mr. Sanjay Singh's bail has recently been rejected. There has been prima facie evidence being established, and all courts, whether it is the trial court, the High Court or the Supreme Court of India, they have found that prima facie evidence has been established. Then why is Mr. Kejriwal scuttling away from the investigation?
Okay, so let me ask Rashid Kidwai. It's not just the liquor gate scam that has been going on for the better part of the last couple of years now, since this new excise policy was scrapped by the Aam Aadmi Party government. Today, we have a report from the Delhi LG, who has made a recommendation for what many are calling a fake lab gate scam, in which several labs which are linked to the Delhi government, 7 Mohalla clinics, which of course is a flagship sort of showcase achievement of the Delhi government are under the scanner of the Vigilance Department for outsourcing to private diagnostic companies, for using as much as 20,000 fake and non-existent mobile numbers, for carrying out tests on ghost patients and on fake patients. Now, aren't these scams, allegedly one after another, denting the image of a party that claimed to be Kattar Imandar? In fact, its very reason to burst onto the national scene was because it was fighting against corruption. Today, that party, at least allegations-wise, Liquorgate scam, fake lab test scam, fake medicine scam, seems to be just like any other political party in this country.
Zaka, perhaps yes, but these are the, in the realm of allegations. There is no proof. He is not being convicted. The law is very clear. I think the ED must make it clear whether Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is an accused or a witness. You see, a process cannot be a punishment. Mr. Arvind Kejriwal and many others have deep roots in society. They are elected representatives. So if there is a watertight case, I don't know why the law enforcement agencies are not issuing a non-bailable warrant. This is one of the things. If somebody is not abiding by, the summons, then the legal recourse is that to, issue a non-bailable warrant. But that's what I'm saying. It is partially political in nature because it is not clear whether Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is an accused or not.
No, he's not been made an accused as of today. But then the investigating agency always can, if they find new material, always add new accused to the case. For example, even in Manish Sisodia's case, in the first charge sheet that was filed by the CBI, he was not named as an accused. It was only subsequently that his name got attached as an accused. There were raids and questioning, and subsequently he got arrested. So that is a standard part of investigation. It doesn't mean that all accused have to be named at the get-go.
No, Zaka, that's what I'm saying. Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is a chief minister of a state. He, as I said, he has roots in society. And if there is a watertight case, if he has violated law, obviously he should be punished, and he should be punished in the exemplary fashion. I'm not holding brief for him.
No. So having roots in society, Rashid, you also have roots in society. I have roots in society. Shekhar has roots in society. All of us have roots in society. Point is not that. Point is that can any of us, Rashid?
Let's not trivialize this.
Let me ask a simple question. If ED,
he should be arrested.
One second. If ED were to issue a summons to Rashid Kidwai or to Zaka Jacob or Shekhar Iyer or any of us on the panel here saying please join an investigation, do you reckon that any of us can say no to the ED? Maybe once we can if there are extraneous circumstances, but 3 times?
No, that's what I'm saying. If you've mentioned me, if I am, not abiding by, if I'm not responding to ED summons, ED would certainly, issue non-bailable warrant against me or CBI or whatever law enforcement agency. That's the norm.
So, Shekhar Iyer, one of the charges, and it's not just the Aam Aadmi Party, the entire India alliance has been saying this from time to time, that the agencies, whether it's the ED, the IT department, the CBI, etc., have been used disproportionately against opposition and opposition leaders. It's almost like everybody in the BJP is squeaky clean. Now, I refer to an Indian Express report which came out a few months ago, which did an analysis. From 2014, when Mr. Modi came to power, 121 Indian politicians have been under the ED net. They've either been questioned or raided or arrested. Of these 121, 115 happen to be from the opposition. Only 6 are from the BJP or an NDA alliance partner. Surely, if you were to go by these numbers, Shekhar Iyer, the opposition has a point. That why are all the corrupt only in the opposition? Or why are the agencies only targeting the opposition?
Zaka, well, the opposition has a point that they are being targeted. But I would say the larger public interest, let there be political vendetta. Instead of, secret understanding that which has been the practice earlier in some states like Maharashtra. Now, this is a new pattern that is started. What is the harm? See, why should not the corrupt not be brought to book? Okay, you will get a chance when you come to power. Don't leave them. Let them be roasted on fire if they are corrupt. See, here what is happening is, under the section under which Kejriwal has been summoned, that is PMLA, which was approved by Supreme Court. Of course, a review is also pending. The provisions make it clear, when a summon is issued, the ED is under no obligation to disclose the reasons or why you are being called, whether as a head of a political party, the argument that Kejriwal is saying. Now, what is surprising to me, Zaka, is Kejriwal is a very, very shrewd politician. But why has he adopted this approach? See, he is facing a political problem, let us say. Instead of fighting it politically, he is taking recourse to some legal situations or legal arguments which won't stand in the court, as we have seen in the previous cases, whether Sanjay Singh or Manish Sisodia.
No, fight it politically how? The contention of the opposition is everything politically is loaded up against them. So how do you expect them to fight it politically?
Zaka, the Kejriwal we knew when he led the anti-corruption movement. He himself has said several times that why politicians don't submit themselves to probe.
Yeah, he has said that in the past, you're right.
He has said it in the past. And he said, what is this? Ye badalna chahiye. Now this is his moment. I mean, he would make a greater political point by going before the ED. Did not Sonia Gandhi go? Did not Rahul Gandhi go in the National Herald case? So, I mean, what is the big deal about it? And see, there are enough lawyers on all sides to defend them. I mean, there is no fear. But what is happening that Kejriwal today, after two of his, colleagues, both Manish Sisodia and Sanjay Singh are in jail. See, politicians have never feared jail because they have always felt it boosts them when they come release if they are innocent.
Correct.
So for Kejriwal, I feel would have done well rather than follow the Hemant Soren route.
Is it possible then, let me ask Abhinandita Mathur this, the real reason why Mr. Kejriwal is avoiding these summons, fear of, Shikhar Iyer is saying there's no fear of arrest, but the problem with arrest is then who runs Delhi? There is no chosen successor, unlike in other parties where, there might be progeny who might be interested in taking forward the legacy of said political party. In the Aam Aadmi Party's case, there is no such, dynastic politics, if you will. There is no such chosen heir. Then who leads the people of Delhi? Who takes on the responsibilities of the Delhi Chief Minister if in the event that he is arrested by the Enforcement Directorate? And is that why, for political purposes, Mr. Kejriwal is not showing up for questioning?
Honestly, that's least of our concerns at the moment. I think that despite the fact that we are a very small party, despite the fact that we're only 10 years old, I think that we do have a lot of capable people, and the work for the people of Delhi, despite so many of our leaders being arrested, and so many challenges, we are still burning the midnight oil and working for the people of Delhi. So that itself is least of our concern. I think the tone of our governance was set, and there we are not worried. I think that the point why Mr. Kejriwal, whether or not, one, it is his legal right to decide on what summon will he respond and how. And he had already gone for a day-long questioning earlier. It's not that we are not cooperating. Two, we must look at the fact that 3-4 of our very significant leaders are now in jail, and there is nothing that we can do about it because of the PMLA Act. You have to see how the ED has been working, and this I quote from a judgment of the Supreme Court bench about the arrests that are made by the ED, and the court says it speaks volume about the ED and reflects poorly, if not negatively, on the style of functioning, especially since the agency being charged with onerous responsibility of curbing economic offence of money laundering in the country. The ED has to be transparent, above board, and conform to pristine standards and fairness, and not vindictive in its conduct. The court also goes on, the bench also goes on to say that considering the fact that there is actually little evidence before the arrests are done, this standard of investigation cannot be followed, and you cannot make arrests without proper evidence. Now, these are observations, these are from the Supreme Court itself. I do agree that in the past we all used to say, "Arey, chale jaiye, cooperate kariye agency ke saath," but we have to accept the fact that we are not in the normal usual circumstances in which India used to be. It is a very extraordinary circumstance where, as you pointed out, that out of the 121 cases that the ED is dealing with, everybody is in the opposition, and you wake up The next morning you join the BJP and all your cases vanish, and you cannot separate these two things because the legality of this is happening in the context, in a political context.
Okay.
And the political context is such that you are spending crores and crores and crores on elections. We cannot question you. You are building a BJP office like a Taj Mahal. There is no way that we can challenge that or ask where that money comes from. We cannot even ask what the Prime Minister fund gets. So there are so many things where there are lapses. I mean, किसी आप बच्चे से भी जाके पूछिए. In fact, it's worthwhile talking to some senior citizens and elderlies at this point, and they will all tell you हमने इतनी गंदी राजनीति कभी नहीं देखी.
The opposition's charge is it's not just that the agencies are being used disproportionately to target opposition leaders. It is also that, and they've used this phrase earlier as well, that the BJP is somehow this kind of washing machine where there have been multiple instances of leaders who, when they were in the opposition, Hemanta Biswa, Suvendu Adhikari, etc., who were in the opposition, they had cases against them. When they joined the BJP, those cases, magically, there's a go slow on them.
No, Zaka, this is not true. But let me just very quickly respond to what Abhinandan ji said. First, she said that Mr. Kejriwal can choose what summons to answer to and what summons not to answer to. That's not the legal position. Let me just correct her there. The earlier summons were issued by CBI, which he went and answered to. The ED is an independent agency, which is different from the CBI. Mr. Kejriwal has not honored a single summon issued by the ED. As I said, Section 50, subsection 3 of the PMLA Act makes it mandatory on Mr. Kejriwal or any other individual who has been summoned to go and honor those summons and must appear before the investigating agencies. So you cannot pick and choose. What Rashid ji was saying, that he is the Chief Minister of Delhi. You're calling the Chief Minister of Delhi. Abhinandan ji, let me finish. The fact is that is where the penny drops. This is the VVIP syndrome that I was talking about. He has become such a khas aadmi that he is the one who is trying to engage in a conversation and asking the EG to send him a questionnaire. A normal person, a normal common person like you and I or anybody else in the panel, God forbid if we are summoned by the ED, we cannot send such an audacious response. Now let's talk about the politicization of the investigating agency. I have already placed, this is not a random order. This is a order which is passed by the Honorable Supreme Court of India, where the Aam Aadmi Party advocates had submitted before the court and argued at length about the politicization of ED in particular. And that is where the judge said that there is no evidence to prove this, and therefore they will neither insinuate nor impute any political motives to the investigating agency.
No, but Basuriji, there have been individual instances. Just give me 1 second. There have been individual instances, I believe, in the Sanjay Raut case, for example, the Bombay High Court chastised the ED for violation of procedure, for arbitrary arrest, and to lay down specific guidelines before an arrest can happen. So there have been individual cases where courts of law have come down on investigating agencies and their methods.
Certainly. Certainly, I'm not scuttling away from that. Also, I'm not the spokesperson for ED. I am the spokesperson for Bharatiya Janata Party. I am talking about the politicization of ED. That is the allegation that I'm asking. If there's been any procedural impropriety, that has to be answered by the ED. Now, I want to talk about, you raised the aspect of Suvendu Adhikari. Do you know that ever since Mr. Adhikari has joined the Bharatiya Janata Party and he has become the leader of the opposition and leading Bharatiya Janata Party in Bengal, over 30 FIRs have been hoisted on him by the TMC, who is ruling Bengal presently. And that is what, and TMC of course is an alliance partner of the Aam Aadmi Party. The reason why I'm giving this example is because that's a classic case of where you try to throttle the opposition by virtue of using investigating agencies and politicizing the police. The kind of allegations of Mr. Adhikari are despicable. There's almost like stealing 5,000 rupees, chain snatching. It is just to create a canonization of criminal antecedents, and that is the misuse. The ED is an independent.
What about the real
investigative
allegations of
agency
corruption
doing
against
its
him?
job.
No, so let me go to Rashid.
I'm coming to that. Abhinandan, I'll just take 10 seconds.
Let me get the others also, please, if you may. Rashid, the point is that when Mr. Modi came to power in 2014, he said, "I will weed out corruption." Now, if he's going after the people who are allegedly corrupt, then you can't hold that against him, because the BJP is well within its right to turn around and say, you compare 10 years of UPA and, scam after scam was happening on a monthly basis, and 10 years of NDA, there isn't any big notable scam to speak of. And this is the record that the NDA is going to go to the people with in 2024. You name one big scam that's happened in the last 10 years in which, let's say, a central minister or a senior leader of the BJP has been accused.
Zaka, I'm glad you raised this point. It is not about scam or corruption. We have a very corrupt political system. You look at the elections, they are so expensive, and each political party spends a lot more than what is, legally permitted. And we know this is an open secret, and this is perhaps a background of, if at all, if there was liquor gate, then there is a background for this, because they also needed this kind of funding. And that's how perhaps, liquor scam was used. What I'm saying is, Mr. Modi or any government, I would say, has not done anything to address the root cause of problem. What we see is a selective thing. Selectively, opposition is targeted and others are not, brought in question. We can go on giving example of, Ajit Pawar and several others. This is very glaring. We cannot be endorsing. At the same time, I have a problem. I mean, I can't be supporting Mr. Arvind Kejriwal just because he belongs to opposition. There should be a clear distinction between what is, the legal sphere, which is like everybody should be accountable, everybody should be taken to task, and the political side.
Shekhar, I'll give you the final word. The reason, I don't think anyone here in India was expecting either Mr. Modi or any future dispensation to come up with electoral reforms and change how political parties are being funded. People want to see visible action against alleged corruption. In the case of the UPA, like I said, from CWG scam to 2G scam to Colgate scam, so on. I mean, there were numerous scams and there were faces attached to those scams. In the last 10 years, and this is a remarkable achievement of Mr. Modi, yes, he's not rooted out corruption. No one is saying India has suddenly become, squeaky clean. But there has been no big allegation in the public domain against any big BJP leader or cabinet minister. And that is something, that's a record that they will go to the people with. Let the people decide. And for the people of India, I think the contrast is quite apparent. It's there in front of your face. 10 years of UPA and 10 years of NDA.
Definitely, Zaka, even to achieve this record, the Prime Minister has been behind ministers, warning them often to be careful with whom they talk to, or their personal officers, how they handle people. There has been a constant effort by the Prime Minister and the Prime Minister's office in this regard. But what I want to say is, whoever has advised Kejriwal to adopt this particular position, he has been ill-advised, because this is going to give him diminishing returns. See, legally, it will not be easy for ED to arrest him for not responding to summons, because that would require a separate route, file FIR, not under PMLA. Because the PMLA doesn't say that if you do not respond to someone, you can be arrested. No, you can be arrested only if there is evidence of money laundering. But here in this case, it's purely a question of calling him, ask him about certain things that they have found in the cases linked to Sanjay Singh and Mandir Ayohdya. By not responding to the summons and trying to avoid and taking the counsel of Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren, who has now had a 7 summons issued to him. I mean, he has been ill-advised, because for a Kejriwal, a person whose political career was born in the crucible of anti-corruption movement, a powerful movement, for him to avoid summons is not going to help him politically in the long run or even in the short run.
All right. I tend to agree with what Shekhar has said, because I think this is, if you're going to deal with this politically and not legally, then it makes no political sense for the Chief Minister of Delhi to be seen as avoiding or evading or skipping the summons of the Enforcement Directorate. And more importantly, the distinction will certainly be drawn whether an Aam Aadmi can afford to skip the summons of the Enforcement Directorate 3 times over, or whether this is as Masri Suraj was saying, an Aam Aadmi becoming a Khas Aadmi. But we'll leave it at that. We'll see how the story plays out. Clearly, it's going to get muddled in the politics in the run-up to 2024, and that is going to be a refuge, a defense, an argument that's going to be taken by the Aam Aadmi Party as well in the public, in the court of public opinion, if not in the court of legal opinion. But I'm going to move on to another piece of breaking news that's coming in, and this is an interesting one because this is right after CNN News 18's exclusive interview with the Taiwan Foreign Minister Joseph Wu yesterday ahead of the Taiwan elections next weekend. Now, there's been a reaction from China. China had the foreign ministry spokesperson, in fact, the embassy spokesperson here in Delhi of the Chinese embassy has tweeted, and I quote, noted an interview by CNN News 18 with the Taiwan independent separatists. It's a regret to notice that the content helps spread fake information and mislead the audiences. Clearly, they are, of course, upset and worried about the charge that China was deeply interfering in the upcoming elections in Taiwan. Siddhant has more details on this. Siddhant, just walk us through why such a belligerent tone by the Chinese embassy spokesperson.
Well, perhaps, Zaka, first of all, congratulations to you. We are bringing impact post the interview. And in fact, Zaka, the core of this news break is that we live in a democratic country, and CNN News 18 is free to interview any dignitary from any part of the world. Point number two, Zaka, the embassy has called Foreign Minister of Taiwan as Taiwan separatist leader. But it's important to highlight that DPP contests elections in Taiwan, and minister happens to come from the party, so he is representing the people's voice. And the third, Zaka, and the most important one, the embassy may be reminding us about the One China policy, or perhaps the global consensus for One China policy, and the international community, reiterating it time and again. But Zaka, fact is, CNN News 18 is is an open platform for all the legitimate voice, irrespective of the opinion of the government of India or any other government. So this is a statement which is coming from the spokesperson of the Chinese embassy, Zaka. Perhaps he has tagged CNN News 18 and he has spoken about the One China policy and how the global community and in fact the government of India recognize it, and that's the legitimate position all across the world. And in fact, he has also called the foreign minister of Taiwan the separatist force and the separatist voice. Back to you.
We'll leave it at that, Siddhant. Thank you very much for joining us with your thoughts and perspective on that reaction from China, the official spokesperson of the embassy there reacting to that. Now, let's shift focus to debate number two. The politics over the Ram Mandir continues with no end to the barbs that are coming in from the opposition, which many Hindu groups have dubbed as an insult to Sanatan Dharma after Asaduddin Owaisi, Sam Petroda, BK Hariprasad. Now, the Karnataka Chief Minister's son, Yatindra Siddaramaiah, has also triggered a controversy by saying that India will become like Afghanistan or Pakistan and have a dictatorial regime if the country becomes a Hindu Rashtra. Meanwhile, NCP leader Jitendra Awad called Lord Ram a meat eater, which prompted protests from the BJP. The India Alliance is firefighting multiple statements from its leaders targeting the Mandir ceremony. Mr. Awad, of course, later went on to regret his statements and said that he's taking them back if it has caused pain to anyone. The Prime Minister also targeted the India Alliance, saying that they are using or at least targeting Hindu Asta and only to denigrate the sentiments of the majority community and that the India Alliance must be defeated to hold up Hindu pride. Let me now go across to our guests who are joining us. G.S. Prashant is spokesperson of the Karnataka BJP. L. Hanumantaiah is Rajya Sabha MP of the Congress Party. Mr. Hanumantaiah, let me start with you first. Yatindra Siddaramaiah is no ordinary politician. Yes. He's a multi-term MLA. He's the son of the Chief Minister. For him to say that if India becomes a Hindu Rashtra, it's going to become like Afghanistan or Pakistan, and then not express any kind of remorse for it or regret for it, how does one even explain this? This is going completely counter to majority sentiment in this country.
The majority sentiment is always respected in the country. Those who are in Congress or the Rama Bhaktas, they are not against the Rama or any such religious activities. In fact, you must also understand the leaders of the Congress and the Congress party by itself always stood by the Hindu sentiments and Hindu culture, and they themselves
or Hindu practitioners.
No, but how do you explain the
need
comments
not
by
be
the son of
politicized.
the Chief Minister of Karnataka that if India becomes a Hindu Rashtra, it will be no,
No,
different
Chief Minister's son has given his
than
personal-
Pakistan or Afghanistan?
He has, no, it is his personal opinion. The opinion is that you cannot make an Hindu Rashtra by which it will become a religious country like that. That is his opinion. But we all, they all congressmen in this country.
Sir, isn't that opinion an insult to the majority faith of this land? The people who are
Definitely not.
practitioners of the
It is
majority
not
faith
the
of this land.
It is not an insult on the majority community. Rather, it is a warning or a carefulness that he is kept before the country. That is the main thing.
Okay,
We should
GS
not
Prashant,
go-
this is
Yes,
about
carefulness.
Mr. Yatindra Siddaramaiah asking people to be wary because if India becomes a Hindu Rashtra, a country that is foundationally sort of rooted in religion, then we are no different from Pakistan or Afghanistan. We are just a mirror image of Pakistan or Afghanistan, which are avowedly asecular or non-secular countries.
Zaka, this statement by Yatindra Siddaramaiah reeks of anti-Hindu mindset. Both the father and son at different points in time have publicly exhibited being anti-Hindu. Yesterday you had Siddaramaiah refusing to enter the temple even though his own minister was literally pleading him to enter the temple, but Siddaramaiah chose not to. Whereas for the sake of appeasement, he has entered into different shrines belonging to different communities and offered prayers as per their customs. So if by doing that, if he is feeling that he is truly secular, he is 100% wrong, because by insulting the very ethos of Hindus, the culture and Hindus is being, and ethos, religious ethos is being insulted on a day-to-day basis by the entire India alliance, the Ghamandiya Gadbandhan as we call it as. This is an insult to all the Hindus, not only in India but across the globe. And people, I am sure, would give them a befitting reply in the 2024 elections.
To the
it cannot be a personal statement, because it is a statement of the Congress, it is a statement by Rahul Gandhi, it is a statement by Sonia Gandhi.
Sir, how do you respond to the charge by the opposition that BJP is just milking religion for political purposes? Religion is a deeply personal affair. Why all this taam jham ahead of the Ram temple inauguration? It's a deeply personal affair. And to do this 3 months before the Lok Sabha election, clearly you are doing this for politically expedient reasons, for political benefits in the Lok Sabha election. That's the charge against you.
100%.
By the
It is a personal belief of 85% of the population. 85% of the India's population, you are saying it's a personal belief. And at no point in time we are playing politics so loud, because all that BJP wanted was to give Maryada Purushottama the due respect what he deserved, because for 500 years we have withstood the onslaught and we have waited for this particular Prana Pratisthapana to happen, and Congress now with his India alliance partners, for the sake of appeasement, is making out these statements. And the statement by Jitendra Singh was in such low taste, and his apology is even worse, to say that if he has heard the sentiments of people. What does he mean by if he has heard the sentiments? Of course he has heard the sentiments of all the Hindus across the world, and people will teach them a lesson.
So,
and
Mr. Hanumanthaiah, it's not just Yatindra Siddaramaiah.
Yes. It is a statement by Sonia Gandhi.
There is also Mr.
It is a statement
Jitendra
by the
Award,
first
who has said
family
that
of
Ram
Congress.
was a
Unless
non-veg
with the exclusive support of
when
them,
it is
they are making
explicitly
these
said,
statements.
in the Ramayana that he survived on fruit in the 14-year Vanvas. So again, the contention by the BJP is this is an insult to Hindus, this is an insult to Ram. Surely Mr. Awad would have read the Ramayana, knows what is said in the Ramayana.
Yeah. No, I just want to clarify on this. The Ramayana, Mahabharata are the scripts of this country, called to be holy scripts of this country. That is nothing wrong in calling like that.
Not called,
but
they are the holy scriptures, Mr. Hanumanthaiah. They are.
Yes, I am telling that. I am not negating it.
Yes.
Supposed to be holy scripts.
Admitted.
There is lot of comments on that.
Not supposed to be. They are holy scriptures.
People have written comments on
there is no
Mahabharata
doubt there.
Ramayana.
They are holy scriptures.
They have criticized
This is
Rama,
what Congress is doing.
Krishna,
they are holy scriptures.
There are 30 and 300 versions of Ramayana in this country. It is not only one Ramayana which was written by Valmiki. You have to look at that also. Their versions, you have to evaluate that. In that evaluation, many learned scholars have given their opinion. What kind of
close to Lord Ram only, and it does not depict Rahul Gandhi as Ram.
That is your opinion,
it is Lord Ram.
That is your opinion.
Rahul
it
Gandhi
is not
can
the
be anything.
opinion of everybody.
Okay.
Have you read what
opinion.
Ambedkar has written? Have you read what Ambedkar has written?
A person who has read Ramayana.
Have you read what Ambedkar has written?
Ramayana depict that.
See, the comments given by Ambedkar
wrote about Congress being such a lowly laid party.
Riddle of Rama and Krishna.
Forget
about Ambedkar's Congress. Forget about
that.
that.
You have no moral right to talk about Ambedkar.
Please read once again.
Ambedkar loses the election.
Riddles of Rama and Krishna.
One second.
What are the comments he has made? What are the comments he has made?
No, Mr. Hanumantaya. You have other leaders. Mr. Pitroda says, there is a revival of majoritarianism in India. You have Mr. Hariprasad from Karnataka yesterday saying that there's going to be a Godhra-like situation.
I know.
No, point is, why are you again and again fear-mongering, scaring the Hindu majority community in this country as though,
No, it is not.
The skies are going to come down. No, it is not.
not
Why are you
scaring the Hindu
fear-mongering
majority.
in the name of religion?
It is not. It is not fear-mongering. It is not scaring Hindu majority.
So what does the Chief Minister's son? What does the Chief Minister's son mean by saying we'll become like Afghanistan?
You are not taken that they have
what does the Chief Minister's son mean by we will become like Afghanistan?
You must also take the opinion of people who have accepted the fact that Hindu majoritarian sentiments has been respected by Hindu leaders, which you have not taken into consideration. You are talking about only people who have commented against that. Why have you not taken that? There are many leaders. Like
but
these
are leaders, these are leaders of either your party or your alliance partners. And they are saying this ahead of the Ram Temple inauguration. They are saying this ahead of Lok Sabha elections. They are saying this in the public domain.
It is very clear. No, I wanted to make this comment now also. My dear, I wanted to make this comment now also. It is very clear. People who believes in Rama or not believes in Rama are not at all bothering. But BJP as a political party utilizing this religion for their political motives and power. There is no doubt about it.
Mr. Prashant,
when N18 Advani started this Ratha Yatra,
Mr. Hanumantaya says Ram Bhakts are not as offended as the BJP is because BJP wants to use this for political purposes.
There is no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Zakka
and never Congress.
Let Mr. Prashant respond. Let Mr. Prashant respond. Yeah.
Congress will be reduced to probably single digits. That's when they get to know the power of the real Ram Bhakts.
That is okay, yaar.
What
BJP was in single digit.
Strong
BJP was in single digit when it was
Congress
there.
will be decimated.
Today you are talking about Congress in single digit.
Until then,
but BJP was in single digit during
Advani's period. The Italian deity.
Vajpayee's period.
Congress is
was it not?
Italian deity.
Was it not?
They don't have respect for Lord Ram. They want Italian deity.
You are always.
Let them
you
go
have
behind
no
Italian
other
Mata.
things
We
to
have no
talk.
problem.
BJP has no other things to call that Congress is the Italian,
come out of the colonial
decided
mindset.
by the Supreme
Stop
Court.
being,
you don't have any respect for the
such
Supreme Court decision.
Accepted people
you don't have any respect for the Supreme Court decision.
Stand out and say that you are standing for Lord Ram. You can never.
But
none of your Congress leaders will even dare to say that.
Why
stand for Lord Ram.
The Karnataka government, Mr. Prashant, once again, the Karnataka government is also saying today. In fact, they had Congress. One second, Mr. Hanumantaya. One second. They are also saying, and today they had protests outside the Congress office in Bengaluru, saying the person that you are protesting for, Mr. Shrikant Pujari, is a repeat offender, is a known criminal, some 10 cases of illegal bootlegging, some 1 or 2 cases of illegal gambling. There are some 30 cases against this gentleman who you are now, projecting out to be some kind of a holy figure. Who are you batting for, Mr. Prashant? That's the question being asked by the Congress. Yes.
We are not supporting any criminals here.
Let Prashant respond, please.
This is cherry picking. They have picked out a Hindu activist. If he has committed any crime, law will take its course. Let him be punished. We are not supporting any criminals. But Siddaramaiah government was in power from 2013 to 2019. Was it a total intelligence failure then to bring this man to book? If at all he had committed so many crimes, they could have brought it. Only by now that Jan 22nd is the Prana Pratisthapana happening, only to instill fear in the minds of people that if you are a proud Ram Bhakt, we will go after you, which is what Congress is doing.
Okay.
Their intention is really suspect.
Let me leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. Let's see how this story plays out in the run-up to January 22nd, which is the consecration ceremony, the consecration day, the Pran Pratishtha day, and also perhaps beyond that, because surely this is going to have resonance in the Lok Sabha campaign. And finally, as we wrap up, it is the new year, so time to make some new year resolutions. Let's fight cancer with courage and awareness and not fear. Yaad rakhein, screen kare, Sanjeevani, united against cancer. The new year is upon us.
It's time for us to make a new start.
अपने स्वास्थ्य को बनाएं जिंदगी का सबसे अहम हिस्सा.
That's why it's critical
to go for regular cancer screening.
क्योंकि निरंतर स्क्रीनिंग से ज्यादातर कैंसर जल्दी पकड़ में आ जाते हैं
और उनका इलाज बेहतर तरीके से किया जा सकता है.
Cancers that are detected early
are more treatable.
जिसका मतलब है हम ज्यादा जिंदगियां बचा सकते हैं
और बेहतर स्वास्थ्य परिणाम पा सकते हैं.
So if you are making new resolutions like me,
then it's time to put cancer screening at the top of that list.
मैं संकल्प लेता हूं
to get myself and my loved ones
screened regularly for cancer.
Sanjeevani, united against cancer.
याद रखें, स्क्रीन करें.
Hello, Moto.
Being Hindu or the way of the Hindu is a way of life, how is Hindu dhoka? Every time he makes such statements, inane, bordering on inane and perhaps the macabre, he actually gets promoted.
Categorically state that for BJP in the context of Ram Mandir, I believe is a convoluted argument. Why is it that in this country you have to be shy of your religious identity, especially if you come from the majority religion or from the Hindu religion?
Dr. Raman began by attacking me for taking a comparison. The reason I'm doing it is because that is what the opposition does day in and day out. They compare Modi to a czar. They compare him to dictators. Eschew the rhetorics. Today the public wants to know facts.
Presented by
하시면서 일본 상공이 잘못된 정책으로 하여 금강산이 10여 년간 경의하는 최고령도자 동지께서는 금강산 관광
큰 복 받으시고 소망하는 모든 일들이 정부는 자유민주적 기본 질서에 입각한 평화적 통일이라는 원칙을 일관되게 추진해 나갈 것입니다.
에게 핵을 사용할 때는 이런 측면도 다 감안해가지고
외무성에 이 통전부 이런 모든 대남기구를 흡수 통합했다는 측면을 볼 때 아마 남북관계를 북미관계의 하위 개념으로 보고 있는 것이 아닌가 그런 측면을 봤을 때 어찌 보면은 한반도의 운명을 북한과 미국에게 맡겨야 된다는 측면에서 한국 입장에서는 상당히 우려를 하지 않을 수 없다는 것이죠.
그런데 그것이 아니고 시도 때도 없이
지금까지는 동족에게 핵무기를 사용할 수 없는 그런 입장이었다면은 국가관계의 규정상에서는 언제든지 적대 국가에게 핵을 사용할 수 있는 그런 맹분이 확보되었다는 측면.